Hey guys, welcome back to Semojo Homestead. It's been a little while.
It has.
We did get a video up earlier this week if you missed that. And it was Cass taking you through our orchard and just kind of talking about how it's done this year and the things that we're excited about that are in there.
Yeah.
So be sure to check that out if you missed it. Today, though, we want to go through the garden at the end of the summer when everything is just like looking like the end of the summer.
Yeah.
And give ratings on how we feel like each thing did.
Yeah. So there were several things that did not do as well as I'd hoped. And there are several things that did do well or better than I anticipated. So, so let's get started. So we're at our raised bed gardens, and this is typically where we have beans that just cover this trellis. And one thing that I'm seeing that's been kind of a theme for us this year is things kind of starting late. So our Sea Island red beans are just now getting started. And on the other trellis, they're a little bit more advanced, but they're still a whole lot later than we typically get them. I am just now picking Sea Island red beans. So yeah, I planted these at the beginning of the summer, and this is just now really the growth that we're getting. I planted these in probably the middle of the summer. The one thing I will say is we have a bunch of volunteer loofah, of course. That is like what happened to us last year. It's happening again. And I'm actually really excited because last year when that was happening, I hadn't started making soap yet. And now I have unplanned loofah and soap. So big things are coming. Big things are coming. I'm excited about that.
So in this section back here, this was another one that was a little bit later getting started, somewhat intentional, but in Semojo fashion, some volunteers that are thriving better than anything that we're growing intentionally. This one I think is a pumpkin plant. It has branched so much inside the corn that we can't really tell. There was another squash plant in there as well, but I think this is the pumpkin plant that is not produced again, but is putting off a ton of male flowers. We're hoping to get a couple more off of that. But the plant itself has done great. The corn behind me, sweet corn, we had to delay it because of Josiah's rainbow corn. We did not want to risk cross-pollination on those. This is still yet to be determined. Some of them are looking pretty good. Some of them are like, eh. So I don't know. We're going to see. We're going to find out. They do have ears coming on and silk. And some of the ears are looking pretty plump. So we're hopeful, but we will see. So I just saw that we do have another pumpkin coming on. It's right here, guys. I'll pick it up. Oh my gosh. Okay. We have a lot. Not a lot. There's two right here, so it might be a lot. And there's another one that has not opened yet. Can you see that? Right here. Look at that. So I think we will have some more pumpkins to get off of this one. That's exciting. So this one I'm gonna give, we're gonna grade all these things out. I'll give this one like a A- because for the size of the plant, it has not given us a ton of fruit, but it's doing well. We're gonna be grading these things since school started back. Corn is, like I said, it has an incomplete grade.
Okay, so we have Josiah's glass gem corn behind me or beside me. This corn, well, first of all, this is the first time we've successfully grown glass gem corn, and we've tried 2 other years, if I'm remembering accurately. Yes, 2 years. So that right there is a plus. But I would definitely probably grade this about a C+, because we did get 1 ear off of each stalk. However, they weren't all fully formed. So that was a little disappointing. The real test will come when we take all the kernels off, grind them down, and see what we can make with it.
So the next thing are beans and sweet potatoes. Our beans have done just as expected. I'm gonna definitely give all of our green beans an A plus. They have given us plenty when we've stayed on top of them, and they're still producing. So all of those did really good. Sweet potatoes, now this is a tricky one. We had a lot of dropouts. For the number that we planted, we did not get a lot growing. But the ones that are growing are doing very, very well. So very happy with those. So I'm going to give them A minus. I mean, we don't know what's underground, but based on the vines that are growing, they are looking really good, really healthy. I mean, they do get insect damage on them. I'm not worried about that. That never affects them. They just have holy leaves. So they're just extra blessed.
Next, we're going to talk about tomatoes and peppers. So our tomatoes have been a very big disappointment from the garden this year. We have some green tomatoes still producing. We have not harvested as many tomatoes as we typically do, like nowhere close to it. However, I know that is in large part to me because we had all those zinnias in here that were shading out the plants and they were beautiful, but they can't coexist. Also, we are hearing pretty consistently that this is not a great tomato year for a lot of people around us. So I'm not sure if it's all the rain. There are probably some other factors going on. But for the most part, if I were to rate these tomatoes, I know it's not our seeds or the seed distributor we buy through. I know that it's not them. I'm confident that it's other factors than that. So, I would probably give this year, honestly, if I'm being real honest, I'd be like a D plus. Like tomatoes are something we really like to have a lot. We really like to harvest a lot of and put a lot away so we can make all of our ketchup, all of our chili, all of our pasta sauce, like everything. And we definitely are going to have to find some alternatives this winter. Peppers. So the peppers, same thing. They were probably getting shaded out as well. But our hot peppers are doing really, really well. We planted a lot of fun varieties this year. So it's been really neat walking through the garden and seeing all of them. I love all the shapes and colors that you can get in peppers. They're just really fun. We have a couple sweet peppers that are doing really well as well. They, again, are a little on the slower side. I would say overall, our peppers are probably a B plus. We like to have a lot of variety in peppers because we make our own blends and our own hot sauces. So the varieties add a depth to the flavor you just can't get if you focus on one particular variety. So they've done fairly well.
All right, the next thing that we are going to grade out, oh, hello, garden cat, is our squash. Now, most of the squash has been pulled out of the garden because we've been done with it. We did do a second succession planting. That one's not going to rate very well, but we're just going to focus on overall squash harvest. So this one, I don't remember what it is. I think it's a type of acorn squash or something. This one is actually extremely late. This one was part of that early summer planting, but it has not produced anything yet. And it has just recently, in the last couple of weeks, really taken off. So we're going to see how that goes. Overall, I would say our squash harvest has been phenomenal this year. We have gotten so much. We've been able to put so much away. Very, very happy, very pleased with it. So I am definitely giving it an A plus. That has been probably the star student in the garden this year. So very, very, very happy with that. And hopefully that will continue into next year, because squash has definitely been a hit or miss. And if you've seen some of the other videos and garden tours, we've talked about how the last couple years we have just really not had a good squash harvest at all. But That has not been the case this year, thankfully.
So next we're going to talk about our okra. So we have planted the would-be white okra. We planted it a little bit later in the summer. And it's doing pretty well. It's growing well. We're starting to get some harvest. Okra really likes the heat. And so I'm hoping that we'll get some more if the temps don't cool down too much. It is supposed to get warm again next week. So hopefully these will continue to push out and produce more okra for us.
All right, so we intentionally let them grow. We did not intentionally plant this next thing that I'm going to talk about. The flowers. Look at these flowers behind me, guys. I mean, it is outrageous. Right now, that's about the only thing in this spiral section of the garden, and they have completely taken away the spiral, but that's okay. Zinnias, there's marigolds in there. Were poppies earlier in the season. There's this really cool spiky plant that totally don't remember the name of it. Black-eyed Susans. I mean, so much color, variety, and flowers. These things get an annoying 100%. I say annoying because all of this beauty right here, guys, is half the reason why some of this stuff did not grade higher. So they're actually, you know what? They're the kids in the class that cheat and get away with it. And they score higher than the kids are cheating off of. How does that work? Maybe it's that, or maybe it's the annoying kids that never study, and they're like, you're valid Victorians. But no bitterness here, guys. No bitterness here. Anyway, the other thing I want to talk about, and we've got this and one more thing, is our basil. Now, we did plant several different types of basil. The basil, the last half of the summer, has really taken off. That's another thing that really thrives in the heat. And so once we got that heat coming in, it really has done well. This one has gone to flower, but we will still harvest it. This particular variety seems to hold its flavor. And I know some of you guys are just going to ask me in the comments, what variety is it? Honestly, I don't remember because we had several different varieties we planted and we just sort of scattered them around the garden. And I'm not like up on all the basil varieties and knowing them and how to recognize them. But anyway, all that aside, the basil has done great. It is really coming along, and I love it because some places it's hidden in the flowers and you'll walk through the garden and like brush up against it without knowing it, and it fills the entire garden with a beautiful aroma of basil.
Okay, so these behind us are our cucumbers. I've actually already started pulling them out and cutting these the vines. First of all, I have to say I love this trellis that Jeremy did. It's probably one of my favorite things that we did in the garden this year. It is my favorite thing that we did in the garden this year. I love it. It was really easy because to harvest because the cucumbers dropped underneath, and I see another baby cucumber. This thing gets like 100%. We harvested so many cucumbers. And it's just like still, even though I've started pulling things out and cutting vines, and cutting them, I'm still seeing babies. This thing is like very, very rigorous. So these did great. I'm incredibly pleased with what we were able to harvest off of them, and the kids loved having them.
All right, so that's our garden. Overall, I don't know, class ranking, it wasn't horrible, but
not the best.
Wasn't the best. So we're just gonna, in the next couple of weeks, start getting it ready for the fall and hope for a great fall harvest.
Yep.
Let's do highs and lows.
Highs and lows.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Got to get back in this routine.
Yep.
So I think my high would be that there was a birthday this week.
Cue annoying song.
Oh, you did it.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Definitely leaving that in here. Yes, Mariah, our middle child, turned 14, and
crazy.
it's so hard to believe.
Mhm.
So I had a lot of fun celebrating her, having a birthday party, and then also getting to go out with my parents and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun. That was my high. My other high is that college football starts this week, unofficially, week 0. So, and the weather is college football weather. It's been so nice here this week. It's been wonderful.
Yes.
It's just, I mean,
Yeah,
refreshing.
that's so good. Yeah.
My low would be probably just over the last couple weeks. I have not had a chance to make it into the garden. I actually brought my parents into the garden last night when they were here, and it was the first time I felt like I'd been in the garden in at least a week, maybe 2. So just like haven't had time, haven't been able to. When I have had time, it's been rainy, and so it's just been like I've been missing it. So that's probably been my low.
Yeah. My high was definitely this weather, just being able to enjoy it not being so hot and feeling like fall. Although I have been very tempted to rip out a couple of these beds and start planting some carrots and um, some of our cool weather crops.
Let's do it.
We should. Yes. Anyway, so yeah, I'm really ready to start planting and eating some different seasonal vegetables. So my low is actually that John had to turn over his phone this week. Yesterday was actually on Mariah's birthday, was day 0 for him. He had to turn in his phone, and he starts his ranger training on Monday. So praying for him over the next 4 weeks. We won't have any interaction with him. It's going to be pretty rigorous. So we're just praying that, he gets through it and we get to hear from him on the other side.
Yeah, that would definitely. I don't know how I forgot about that, but I forgot about that. That was my low also.
Yeah.
So we would appreciate, and he would too,
Yeah.
your prayers if you are someone who does pray. Just praying him through, because he's got 8 weeks of very, very, very intense training ahead of him. So for the next 4 weeks, we have no contact with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, just if you would join us in prayer, and let's just like pray him through that, and he can be the best soldier that he can be.
Yeah. That's all we have for you. Thank you for joining us in our very wild but vibrant garden. We hope you guys have a great week and be blessed.